Welcome to Kettlebells and Cocktails. I'm your host, John, back with my bestie, Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm excited. We could have a fun podcast tonight. I was thinking about this today, that what a journey Instagram has been for me, and all the friends I've made, including you, from like kind of
Totally.
from all over the world. And tonight our guest is a friend that I made on Instagram that we were just laughing off the air that we've never spoken before, but we're always like kind of messaging back and forth and BSing. And anyway, Laura, help me with your last name, Kasperzak. Did I get it right?
It is Kasperzak, yes.
Yes, thank you. Look at me.
Nice. That never happens.
I know I never get it right. I'm so excited. But anyway, Laura's with us. Laura, how are you?
I'm good. Nervous. I always get nervous before anything with speaking publicly.
You've been on but you've been on real shows. So for people listening, Laura's like a real live yoga like really good at yoga, and it's been on like major national publications, and like came on my radar at some point. Like you do CrossFit, so you know, like everyone else, you follow me, and
humble brag. NBG.
No, but like in the early days, I would look when people would follow, like especially when the page was private, I would have to let them in, you know, and so I would often look at their profiles to see who they were, because I wasn't just letting any jackass in, you know, only certain jackasses got in. And
right.
I made the cut.
We're so lucky, you and me, Laura. No, but so
like
lucky you let us in.
No, so I'm looking at Laura, so she had like 1 million followers, and I'm like, how the hell does a yoga person get 1 million followers? You got to let her in and find out that story, you know? So I was like so impressed. So she's like, you've been on real shows is the point. That's the whole point to the story. You've done like real stuff. Why would you be nervous for us?
I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like I never envisioned like even teaching yoga. Like I have a fear of like public speaking. So when I started my Instagram probably a decade ago now, oh my God, like when Instagram first, probably in the first year of its like, you know, creation, I was the cool aunt because my 13-year-old niece at the time was like, you have to download this app and follow me. So I'm like, okay. And that's how I got onto Instagram.
Oh,
so
wow.
I mean,
you're an OG. That's extra cool.
Yeah,
these days, I feel like.
Yeah. So I've been on it a while. I've seen how it's grown and changed, and you know, some things are good and some things are bad, like anything. Social media is definitely a job.
Wow.
But definitely wouldn't, you know, change it for anything, you know.
I've always loved your page though, because you know, yoga is such a I think most people view yoga like this. Like it's a very mindful, peaceful kind of thing. And then when haters come in the comments, you just blow them the fuck up. I love it. Like, I love it.
I mean, you can't take the jersey out of me. You know, like, and it used to bother me a lot. Like I used to get like a lot of like really random, weird, like rude comments, and it would like bother the shit out of me. And at one point you got to be like, you know what, like, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't know what your point is, or like why you have to like, you know, be a keyboard warrior and say, you know, anything like negative. So yeah, I mean, I like to give it back to them sometimes if I find it to be appropriate and put them in their place. Like, you know, like I'm momming them. I'll like just yell at them and put them in their corner.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So you're a better woman than I am, because you got there eventually. I'm there the first fucking hater in my comments. I'm like, oh, here we go. Like fire up my thumbs. So you're
I know. but like if you like feed them sometimes, like it makes it even worse. And like,
it's true.
You know, I just remember like when I first like got on there and I would post something and like, look, you know, like I'm, you know, self-conscious, you know, sometimes. And like, you know, this woman came on and was like, you know, for all the like crazy shit you can do, like, I thought you would look like fitter. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Like, you know, it's just like random like shit like people came up with. And I'm just like, okay. Like,
thank you.
You know?
Yeah.
I know. So
I would be like, where does this woman live and how can I burn down her house?
The internet is so tough that way though. Like, and Nikki and I have talked about this all the time.
All
like,
the time.
it doesn't matter what you post. There's like somebody out there that's going to have to say something that drives you crazy. And for me, like I fixate on the negative comments. I hate to admit it, but I do. Like when like there could be 100,000 people going, we love what you post, and one person going, you're an asshole, and I'm just going to drill that guy. You know, like, I just can't take it. It's just
Yeah,
tough.
no, it is. And like, you know, you learn to kind of like, I mean, it is part of the job, kind of. I mean, you have to deal with like not everyone's going to like you, and that like actually took a long time for me to get over. Like I would get so upset, like why does this random person not like me or think I'm like doing something wrong, or you know. And I mean, I honestly I let a lot of it go now, except when they mention something with my kids. Then
Yeah,
I
I was
go
gonna
like,
say.
then I go ape shit, because I'm like, you do not like mama bear. I go into mama bear mode, and I'm like, you know, you can say anything you want about me, but if you have anything negative to say about my kids, ooh, it's on.
I get
Dude,
that. I totally get that.
on for you,
Yeah.
your youngest daughter is incredibly talented, by the way.
Unbelievable. So friggin'
Thank
I'm like,
you.
you're like, okay, so I have things to say because you're like my mom goals times 1,000,000,000. But before I get into all of that, I would love for you to be able to tell our listeners, and I actually don't know your backstory either, but can you just explain like a little bit about how you got into it? I don't even know what to call you officially, like a yoga guru. Is there like a level black belt style? But like, I don't know, just kind of for the people that don't know your story and how you got into it and how it became your career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish I had like an inspirational story about how I even started yoga, but I was babysitting for my sister. And this goes back, so I'm 44 now. This goes back to when I was probably like 19, so like 25 years ago.
Wait a second. Are
I
we
was
just going to gloss over the fact that you are 44 years old and I have this entire time thought you were like my age?
I
I mean,
love
I know
you.
you have like an actual older daughter, so that doesn't make sense in my brain, and I didn't connect to A and B, so that didn't work. But like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. Yep.
What?
Yes. I am 44. I'll be 45 in
Okay.
May.
Oh my
Um,
God. Keep going. Keep going.
yeah. So 25 years ago, I was babysitting, and I put all her kids to bed, and I was sitting downstairs, and she had a VHS yoga tape, like
Amazing.
sitting there underneath her TV, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this, and that was how I started yoga from a random
Amazing.
from a random VHS tape that she had, and I pretty much stole it from her that night. I brought it home, and I would do it, you know, at home until I ended up like, you know, starting to go to a gym and like taking yoga classes. But that's how I actually just started doing yoga.
You
I
were like,
mean,
this is rad. I want to keep going with this. It makes me feel good.
it was just like the most random
Cool.
thing. I mean, like growing up, I you know, I did gymnastics when I was younger. I was a cheerleader, and then I kind of just, you know, after high school, you know, I didn't really do much. And then, you know, I found yoga that way. So it was something like I felt like I was, you know, good at, you know, and it made me feel
Yeah.
good. So yeah, I mean, and I've pretty much been doing it ever since. So it's kept me
That's so
youthful.
cool. I clearly, obviously. And so now, like, did you go through periods of time? Do you teach classes? I know sometimes people like take trips and learn yoga from different people. Like, what's your journey been like?
So I never thought I would teach it, right? So I was always taking classes, and then I joined Instagram, and you know, one thing led to another. Like I joined Instagram, and I'll tell you about my whole name on Instagram too, because that's like kind of like a funny story. Um, but you know, once I started it, I was like, well, what am I going to post on here? Like, it's just pictures, and like photography is actually like another little hobby of mine. So I'm like, I'm gonna, you know, post some like yoga poses I've been working on, and that's kind of how I started like posting yoga on there. Um, but you know, after like gaining like, you know, a couple followers here and there, they're like, oh, you should teach yoga, and I'm like, well, you know, I don't kind of know if I could do that, like get up in front of people and actually teach a class, because actually doing yoga and teaching it are two completely opposite things.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah, very different. So eventually I kind of like grew the balls to like go through with it. And it was very, very awkward to like get used to speaking in front of people. And that took me a really long time. But so yeah, I started teaching probably what, about 8 years ago. So I was like a late bloomer. I didn't really get certified until I was in my mid 30s. But I also felt that like I had a lot to teach people. Like I could do all the fun stuff that a lot of people want to learn, and I could break it down easy enough for them. So that's kind of like how I started to teach. And then, with Instagram and social media, like people invite you to, teach at their studios, teach at festivals. So, for a while there, I was traveling probably, I would say at least once a month, maybe twice. And, it was hard. I mean, like I had never like had a job where I had to travel like that much. So it took a lot to get used to. And I put a lot on my husband at that point too, because I'm like, I'm gone for the week. See ya. I'm going to like, Hawaii for like a week. You take care of the family.
Yep.
Perfect.
But so yeah, I was traveling a little bit, and then like, then my daughter started dancing a little bit more, and that kind of sucked all my time, like in my weekends, and then COVID hit. So I haven't really traveled that much since then.
Yeah. And where did CrossFit like kind of like slot into all of this?
I looked at my butt one day and I said, I have to start lifting weights again.
Totally fair.
You and me both.
Totally fair.
I did
Yep.
the same thing.
Because I did always lift weights like and do yoga. And then when, like I said, when Instagram started to blow up, I'm like, I'm going to strictly do yoga. And then one day I looked at my butt and I'm like, I need to lift some weights again.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
always
then,
the butt always gets you.
yeah. And then like my friend's like, oh, I'm going to try out a new gym. Like it's a CrossFit gym, but we're going to do like the boot camp first. And I kind of like went and I tried it, and being like a little bit competitive that I am, like competitive person that I am, I drank the Kool-Aid and fell in love with it.
I love it. I love it.
You went and got your L1, right?
I did. So when I started out at one gym and they ended up closing, which is a blessing in disguise, because I love the gym, Terrain Fitness, I am at right now. I love the community, and when the owner found out like I was a yoga teacher, we started teaching yoga there once a week. And she's like, like maybe you should go get your L1, like like you're in the fitness world already. And I'm like, and like 2 weeks later I signed up for the course, and I'm like, okay.
Yes.
We'll go. We'll do it.
So do you coach CrossFit classes now too?
I do. I teach like 10 classes a week now.
Oh,
So,
dang.
Yeah.
Girl, that's legit. That's a lot of stuff to do. That's your schedule is. And as a former dance child, I know what the schedule is like. I was on the circuit, just like your daughter's on the circuit, and Star Power and Dance Alliance and where are you going this weekend? And it's a lot. It is a lot.
Well,
it is definitely a lot.
Let's not gloss over all this travel. Like she's not just going to yoga studios, Nikki. Like she's doing TV shows, like real actual TV shows. Like what all have you been on?
Not like our fake shows.
Yeah, not like this fake show,
No.
like real shows, like things that aren't produced in my kitchen. Like what all have you been on?
So like one of the coolest experiences I had was I was asked to teach the American Idol contestants at one point, like yoga. So their whole thing was they got down to, I think, the final like 5, and they were bringing on, I hate this word, but they were bringing on like influencers from like different like areas. And they were like, hey, we'd love for you to come on and, spend a day with, the final 5 and bring them into your world and teach them yoga and like, so that was like one of the coolest things I got like to do. I got to,
Oh
get
my
flown out and,
gosh.
like this whole production. And I was like, wow, this is crazy.
What year was that? Like who won? I only followed Idol a
It
couple
was,
seasons. So
it was actually the last, well, it was like the final season before they brought it back. Like Harry Connick Jr. was the judge, J-Lo, and Nicole Kidman's husband. What's his name? Why am I
my
like
God.
drawing a blank?
Keith Urban.
Oh,
Nicole
Keith
Kidman.
Urban.
Yes.
Did you really
Yes,
just
yes.
call him Nicole Kidman's husband? Are you kidding me? You're
Yeah.
killing me.
I did.
I feel like we maybe watched that season. No, I'm with you. I also am not a country person. In my house, we call him Aunt Cindy because he has the same haircut as Matt's Aunt Cindy.
Yeah. So I actually got to stand by J-Lo's butt, like fairly close, and it is glorious in person.
Is it as great in person as it gets photographed?
It is like very nice.
Wow. It's like it's its own star. It has its own like dressing room,
It
Yeah.
should.
It should. Totally should.
Dang.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Wow. Were they any good at yoga? Just,
Not really.
yeah, I didn't think so.
I mean, but it was a fun time.
And so you are so very much my mom goals, like on every level, because I love following you. Obviously, like your yoga is so beautiful and inspiring. And I see these things that I'm kind of like, I could never balance on one finger upside down, holding like an entire, I don't even know what, but I love when you post stuff with your kids because I don't know. It's so cool to see that you and your daughter have similar interests. And like when you do yoga poses together, or when she like challenges you to do some sort of crazy, like I flipped over from my hands to my feet and now mom, you try, like, it's wicked neat. I don't know. I just like, I envision someday, I obviously only have like a baby, but I envision someday like doing things side by side with him. And that's why I totally love all that stuff you post. And it just kind of gives me inspiration and hope for the future that we're going to be able to like do fun stuff together. I don't really give a shit if he's not into what I'm into. If he grows up hating fucking CrossFit, fine. We'll never do CrossFit together. But like, it would be cool. It would be really cool because like do lifting together. I don't know. We'll see what happens someday, I guess.
It kind of just started like, it definitely just started because like when they were little, we lived in a townhouse, so it was a lot smaller than where I am now. But like I would do yoga in the living room. Where are the kids going? They were, I think, like 5 and 2, or no, probably like 6 and 2 at that point. So like they were just there on top of me, and like my son, not so much. I mean, he would do a couple things like to please me, but like he was like, all right, that's mom's thing. But like Jaden was bendy from the beginning.
Yup.
And and she would like climb on me and try things that I was trying, and that's kind of how it started. Like I would be like, oh, can you do this? And she'd be like, get on the floor, and like her feet would be in her mouth over her head, being a little pretzel that she was. So I mean, I think if they grow up watching you like lift and do CrossFit, I mean, they just take an interest, and they want to do and follow and try to copy, the things that you do, and hopefully they think you're a cool mom, which I'm sure you will be.
I am the opposite of a cool mom.
Yes, you are. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
I'm what is the opposite of that? I am so the uncool mom. I am so the mom I didn't want to be. No, 100%. I'm like, where are your socks? Do you have socks on? Are your toes cold? Like,
that's what you do.
Oh my God.
That is just a new mom thing. I mean, I used to hover over my kids like, oh my God, they're gonna fall and hit like, the table. Like, like, are there, like where's their like, I don't know, like I have to cut their nails, or like where's their shoes? By the time you have number 2, you'll be like,
I tell Matt, by the time we have 3, I'm gonna even just forget it's around. You know what I mean? He doesn't like that joke.
Yeah, by the second baby, you're like, oh, just give them some knives. They'll be fine. Run with these scissors.
Really cool.
My sister has 5, and by like the 4th and 5th one, I mean, like they were lucky if they went out the door and they were like fully clothed or like clean.
You know what? I tell you what I love about watching what you do with your daughter, though. It reminds me of my own, like my oldest ran track for years, and she was really good at it. And we did all these trips together. She made nationals, and we'd go to the AU trips, and I'd go watch her run. We drive all over the country to do this stuff. And she doesn't run anymore, but we have all these baked in memories together from all the trips and all the families you spend time with and all those milestones. Like I can only imagine, like, every time your daughter learns something and it becomes a PR or a milestone or something she couldn't do before, like how proud that feeling is. And that's the way it was for me. And I still remember every single one of those. And even though she doesn't do it now, I still have all of that to fall back on. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so I love watching your daughter's journey, because it's just fun for me. It's like kind of reliving, Mira's track days. It's just super fun.
and like like you go through it, and like you bitch and complain sometimes, and they're like, oh, like and they get like like, well, my daughter's another whole like monster sometimes. Like she's 12 going on 13, so where I'm at that point. But like when it's over and done with, like I'm gonna like completely miss it, like the crazy weekends, and the early mornings, and doing makeup and doing hair, and it goes so quick.
She's 12, so you're on the up ramp of the roller coaster. Like
Mhm.
you're about to hit the
I am.
crest and hit the puberty years where they get crazy and they don't want to spend any time with you, and then the boyfriends come around and it gets weird for a few years. It gets very weird.
If it's any consolation to you, Laura, I never, as a teenager, I never like went through a period of time where I didn't want to hang out with my mom. And I kept dancing all through college, and after college, I taught dance. I was a dance director at a local rec center, like all this stuff. So my mom has been doing my hair and makeup and coming to my performances like until well into my 20s. You got plenty of time.
Okay. I know. I always feel like I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, she's gonna be like, she only has like 6 more years after this. Like, like crap. Like it's going so fast.
You never know. You never know. I was a dance minor in college, and I wouldn't recommend a career in dance by any means. But
no, she wants to be a vet, so we got that too.
Oh my God, so does Matt. Literally still wants to go back to school, and I'm like, that's cute. Go make us some money. You're not going back to school like that. Oh God. But that's cool. She could be a vet and she can dance at night. It's perfect.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh my God.
Nikki, one thing I love about kind of creating these internet friendships is that our friend Laura here is a nerd just like you and I, and loves Marvel. And we're always messaging about whatever the new thing is that's come out. And right now it's Moon Knight. We were talking about it off the air about how much we love the new Moon Knight.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's good.
It's really good.
Okay.
It's not getting great reviews though, but I love Oscar Isaac. I love him.
I was just gonna say that. I love him. Like it's really good. I wish they would just kind of come out with all the episodes, but
are they not?
No, I just want to binge it. I really just want to binge them all right now, but you can't. You gotta wait.
I've liked what Marvel's done with the Disney shows. Like I liked the Vision one. What was it called? The WandaVision.
WandaVision, yeah.
I don't have these ranked in any particular order, but I liked WandaVision. I liked the one with the Winter Soldier and Falcon. I like that one. Okay. Yeah. That was my least favorite.
That one was okay. Same, but it was incredibly well done and pertinent to our society right now.
I tell you what, I'm super excited about. I read today that they have now said that at least the first 2 seasons of Daredevil are canon. So the Daredevil coming back to Disney Plus is going to be canon now. And so they can do a whole, continue the series with the original actor. And I'm like, I love that dude too. He was great in No Way Home, like really good.
I know. I was so like, I screamed, I think when he showed up in Spider-Man. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, we did too. My youngest daughter, had just binge watched the entire Daredevil series just prior to seeing No Way Home. And she loves that dude, loves him in a way that she shouldn't love men. And yeah, it was so good.
I will say Loki was my favorite, but Thor is also my favorite sector of the universe. So there's that.
Tom Hiddleston is so good though.
He is.
Isn't he?
He's so good.
He's funny, charming, good looking dude. Like he checks all the boxes you want one of these actors to be, just
100%.
I met him and Daredevil because they did a play in New York right before COVID hit. And like my friend and I were like, we have to go see this play because Charlie Cox and Tom Hiddleston were in it. So we went and saw them, and then like we stood outside like the little geeks that we were, and they came out and like we took pictures with them or talking to them. But yeah, that's like my I actually like saw him in person.
Wow. You got a picture with them?
I did. I got a picture with both of them because I'm like, and like my cheesy grin in that I look at the picture and I'm like, oh my God.
What was the show? What show were they in?
It was called Betrayal. I forgot what the actress. I mean, it was literally like a very minimalistic like play. It was about like a married couple and like she had an affair or something, about like I think it was called Betrayal. But yeah, it was in New York it ran for a couple months, and we got lucky and got tickets. So
I know exactly what that fangirl grin looks like. I had the exact same one when Annie Thorisdottir came on this show, and I could barely speak to her. I'm just like, hi Annie, you're awesome. You're so
Wait,
awesome.
I remember that. That was when we first started, and like John and I had recorded like a bunch of episodes, like him and I. He had recorded a bunch, and then I came on and I was just doing like news with Nikki, and I was like just reporting on CrossFit news. And then we started like having a couple episodes, and I don't remember how either you reached out to her or I reached out to her. She was like the first legitimate celebrity we had on this show. And she could only talk to us at like 3 p.m. or something. So John and I like left work early. This was like, I don't know if we never thought we were going to do this again. I certainly didn't think we'd be like talking to you and other very famous and well-known people like 3 nights a week a couple years later. But like at the time it was like the biggest deal ever, and John like couldn't speak, and he was like, you're gonna ask questions, right? I don't know what I'm gonna say. And I was like, yeah, I just gotta get out of this meeting, and then I'm gonna come home and we're gonna like totally ditch our day because it's a really big deal that Annie's on the show.
You got to understand, like she was the games champion when I started CrossFit in 2012,
right?
So she was the pinnacle of the sport, and she's awesome, right? So
yeah,
so
she seems like so cool.
Yeah, it was like seeing a real star. Like this, I don't know, like it'd be like meeting any of your sports idols. She was my sports idol. So when she came on, I didn't know what the hell to say. Nikki ran the entire interview. I need to go back and listen to it because I think I asked
probably poorly. I probably ran it poorly.
No, it was great. I just think I asked like maybe 1, maybe 2 questions the entire time.
Yeah, he got on the air. I was like, hi.
I'm like, hi, you're beautiful.
Hi, I love you.
Yes.
That's what Matt was like when he first met her too. It was just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do.
She does have that. I mean, you've met celebrities, Laura. They're like, some of them have that aura about them that makes them different than quote unquote normal people. And Annie has that. Like I've been in a room with her before, like it's the same, in the same vicinity. And when she walks in, she just appears different than everyone else. Maybe it's just me, but just has this like kind of aura. But I mean, you've interviewed her, Nikki. Like she's just got that something that stars have. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Yeah. Maybe I'm just weird. Am I just weird? Am I being weird? Is it weird?
No, not at all. I would be like that if I met her.
Fanny hears this. She's calling the cops right now going, I need a restraining order, please.
Yeah.
For that Make What's Great Again guy.
She like never comes on our show again.
I know. I think she would.
Well, I mean, like you're in cahoots with CrossFit now. So I mean, like,
I am in cahoots. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Know.
Somebody messaged me today about
it
all the BS that's going on with quarterfinals right now. I'm like, I'm not really in cahoots, right? Like, I really don't know anything. I don't know a thing.
I wish you were, and we could get that cahoots money.
If I were in cahoots, I'd
Yeah.
have far better than the nosebleed seats I had to get for the games this year. Oh my God. I am so
Ooh.
high up. I am so high up. Haley Adams, who is already small, is going to look like an ant from where I'm sitting. Like she's going to be
Yeah.
like this big, like this tiny little, look, I'm going to have a little magnifying glass, like trying to see her. It's going to be great.
Laura, have you ever been to games?
I have not. I'm like dying to
What?
just go and hang out.
Come hang out with us. Come this year. It'll be
That
fun.
needs to happen. Bring the whole family.
I know.
Let's
I
do it.
should. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, it does fall into like that like 5-week period where I like Jaden doesn't have dance.
Do it.
Okay, this has to happen. We all gotta go. We'll all meet up.
Look, you can come
We'll hang out.
come hang out with my crew. Nikki's going to be working, so we only get to see her from a
Hopefully.
distance. She'll be on the, out on the field with a microphone, doing her
Like
thing.
looking gorgeous.
Yes.
I'm always watching.
We
I'm
just
like,
get to wave
Oh
at
my
her from a
God.
distance, but you can hang out with me and the crew. We'll just be walking around. It'll be awesome. Be fun.
I hope that I get, well, I mean, I hope I get to work every year. I never know until, I don't like to say until they call me, and I don't even like to say it out loud until my plane tickets are booked, because stranger things have happened. But I would really like to go back this year, if only just to redeem myself for how sweaty I was on camera last year. Every time I was just so sweaty in every interview. I can like see it on, it's like dripping off the end of my already
really?
large nose.
I did not notice
it was
that.
real bad. I was like stinky. I had like all sorts of extra deodorant on in extra places. Oh yeah. Yeah. I would like to redeem myself from that week. Please.
You didn't lick it though. You did not lick it.
I didn't tie my sneakers once that week. My feet were
I was
so
just
swollen.
looking through photos from that week, and every single photo, Nikki's got her hand up on the top of her belly.
There's nowhere else for them to go.
Yeah,
when
because
you're
she was
that
like
huge.
Yeah, you're like a minute away from having the baby, So like
Truly.
every hand is on the top of her belly, It was so
Truly.
funny.
I packed a go bag for games. Like I found a birthing hospital in Madison and was prepared just in case. Like had my paperwork from my OB's office. I was ready to go.
How far along? Like, I mean, like how close were you?
I left at 37 weeks. I came back at 38 weeks. I came back on Monday and delivered on Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Of the same week. Yeah. They induced me at 39 weeks, but that was like, I came back and they were like, oh, good, you're back. Let's get this going.
Hey, all jokes aside, if you want to go, I can virtually guarantee I've got an extra ticket. They're nosebleed. They're nosebleed seats. We're
going to talk about this because I definitely want.
We're going to be up in the skylights. Don't get me wrong. Like, here's how bad it was. I go with the WOD prep team, and Ben's my other podcast, and they bought tickets, and they're like, hey, we'll buy, we'll get your ticket. You can just sit with us. I'm like, great. I don't have to do anything. Well, then they message and go, it's the same seats we had last year. So I look it up. I'm like, no, it's not. We were on the second level last year. These are the third level. These are like, I literally could change the light bulbs from where these seats are.
Oh no.
Yeah. And keep in mind, they have an affiliate pass. So they get these are the early purchase seats.
Okay.
So I'm like, you guys must have screwed this up, or maybe CrossFit, didn't release all the seats. So I'll just wait till Monday. So I log back in on Monday when all the seats release. Nothing. Like,
what?
I mean, there are seats you can buy, but like nothing in pairs, nothing like close. They're all up in the skylights. I'm like, man, it's gonna be sold out this year, so it's gonna be fun. But
yeah,
that's awesome.
We'll be sitting up high, but we can definitely get you in. How about that?
I'd be like, bye, honey. I'm going to watch.
I was gonna say she needs like 5 tickets. The whole fam's got to come. Do your kids or does your husband, like, does anyone else in your family ever do any sort of like CrossFit stuff with you, or is that just that's a you thing, girl?
Well, I mean that definitely my thing, and like my kids are funny now. Like they'll be like, "Well, mom's stronger than you," and he'd be like, "No, she's not." I'm like, Can you like deadlift like twice your weight? I don't think so. Like,
nice.
But like,
just saying.
I mean, I've tried to like get him to come to a class, and he's just like, I'm active enough at work, I don't need to. I'm like, okay. So it's my thing, which is fine. Okay. I think I would just argue with him the entire time if he was at the gym with me.
True. True. You'd find things to be like, let's not, can you actually, you got to keep your shoulders back.
Yeah. Or if we partnered for a partner workout, I'd be like, you're not moving fast enough. What are you doing?
You're ruining my workout.
I've seen couples come to blows in partner workouts. It's dangerous territory for some couples. You never know.
Yeah, you definitely can't. But I've been trying to get my son to do it. So I don't know, maybe in the summer when he has a little bit more time, like he'll come because he's very skinny and I'm like, come to the gym with me if you want.
How old is he?
Maybe. He's 16.
Oh, yeah. Look, wait for it to hit about 85 degrees. Bring him in when every girl in the place is in booty shorts and sports bras. He'll never leave. Here's a true story for you. Here's an absolute true story. So I was taking my daughters to CrossFit with me, and because I wanted them to stay fit. And Megan, my youngest, was going on a very regular basis, and she doesn't want to be an athlete. She doesn't even like to work out, but she was going because I was, wanting her to be, and she wanted to spend time with me, which is really sweet of her. Aww. So we get there and we're at CrossFit Mentality. So it's Scott Panchek's gym. And at the time, the twins, Spencer and Saxon, were both there. And if I'm remembering right, I want to say they were about 19, maybe 20 years old at the time. Okay. Megan was probably 15 or 16. Well, we're doing this workout and it's got deadlifts involved. And I'm facing the back wall. Megan's facing the front wall. But I can see her out of my peripheral vision. And so we're doing deadlifts and I notice she's not moving. It's right in the middle of the workout. And I turn and look at her and she's just standing there, just staring. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I turn and look and Spencer is on the ski erg with his shirt off. And that dude looks like Adonis. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Spencer Panchek with his shirt off, but that dude has about half an ounce of body fat and he's literally all muscle. And I'm like, Megan, what the fuck? And she's like, she just looks at me like, what? You can't blame me for this. I'm going to stare, I'm like, all right.
I love CrossFit.
Yeah. I'm like, you're so done.
I'm never leaving.
I'm like, I'm never bringing you back here ever again.
That's it.
Ever
well,
again.
Laura, there's no better way to inspire anyone to get into the sport than by coming to the games. I think a family trip is in the cards for you guys. You can't possibly leave the energy of the games without being like, I want to work out now. Like, it's so electric. Can't help it.
I watch it. I'm like, my husband's like, what are you watching? I'm like, it's the CrossFit Games. It's like, again, or like whatever I'm watching, like whatever is on that weekend. I'm like, yes, I'm watching people work out. Shut up.
Leave me alone.
It's so different in person though, because everyone in the crowd looks like if you just pointed at them and said, come down here and do this workout, they'd be ready. Like they're wearing shorts. Most of the dudes are shirtless. Everyone's wearing shorts and some sort of CrossFit tennis shoe, like everyone's ready to work out if called upon. Everyone. It's crazy.
John, had you ever been to games in California?
No, my first season, I guess at this point would have been 3 years ago. It was at 2018, maybe 2019.
It was funny back in the day when we were in Carson and when we were at the tennis stadium. It was way smaller and it was like, it felt very intimate. Yes, it is a tennis stadium, but it is just like teeny tiny in comparison. And the floor is small and you're really shoulder to shoulder with everyone in the crowds. And throughout the day, when it was really, really hot, everyone in the tennis stadium, like guys, girls, like everyone had their shirts off. And it was hilarious because you would like look down at the floor at these really fit people working out with no shorts on and their like abs are everywhere and their like delts are popping out of their shoulder, whatever. And then you'd like look up at the crowd and it was like literally the exact same thing. It was like really fit people, all their clothes are off because we were in the hot sun and there was no cover. And it was just probably 200 degrees out always. Oh. So yeah, but it was a fun and hilarious way of like, looking at the crowd. If you ever look at the old documentaries, you can totally see whenever they have crowd shots, it's like bucket hats and nothing else.
That's what I'm wearing this year. I'm going shirtless, just a bucket hat. It's gonna be great.
Bucket hats, nothing. Well, we decided that you're gonna start wearing booty shorts, right?
I might do booty shorts and no shirt. We'll see. Dude, I woke up this morning, Nikki, like I swear to God, I'm down 25 pounds at this point.
Damn.
This is the leanest I have been since high school. It's ridiculous, like so ridiculous. I don't know what to do with it.
Are you going to
I'm
stick
still-
with
Walk
it? Like
around with
your
no shirt.
RP?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
Um,
been like 12 or 16 weeks of RP for you, right?
yeah, I should be in maintenance now, but I'm gonna have to change the nutrition piece of it and up the calories because I'm absolutely not. I don't think I'm eating enough. Like I'm just
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm trying to fuel the workout. So like, I saw you posted you're doing the assault fit wads on the bike. Well, I'm doing their beta test for the assault runner. So now I'm doing 2 workouts a day. So it's even worse. I was just doing hard work pays off. So now I'm also doing fit. And it's like, so I have eaten today like it is my job and I'm still hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you need to, and I was telling this to Matt too, because he was part of the RP transformation challenge at the beginning of the year and he lost a bunch of weight. He really didn't see it until we took his after photos today. And then, when he saw the side by side, he was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm pretty proud of this effort. And I was like, great. Now, what have you learned and how do you want to kind of like use this? And he was like, I really like weighing and measuring, especially during the week. We kind of go off the rails on the weekends, whatever. But he was like, I really like understanding how to fuel my body during the week. I think I'm going to stick with it. And I was like, cool, let's get you on maintenance. And he looks at me like the first time you ever do a cut and you lose a whole bunch of weight and you like figure out food and then you like talk about adding food back into your diet. I feel like I watched his heart stop where he was like, I just worked so hard. Like, am I going to gain all this weight back? Am I going to whatever? And I was like, no. Like, we'll work things back in slowly. You'll fuel on the right foods. You won't be hungry. You won't be, but it was like, you cannot live in a calorie deficit, hun. Like you can't, it's not going to work. It only works for a period of time for a goal. Like you picked up some extra weight during the holidays last year. You wanted to lose it again. Like it's all good, but like you got to get back into a very normal, sustainable diet. And then when you want to cut again for a reason, like you know how to do so in a healthy way, not in a way where you're starving yourself or working out twice a day, John, and not eating enough.
I know. I laughed a week ago because Laura messaged me. I'd posted one of my stories. I had finished a workout and I had my shirt off and I've had abs. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a photo because that's what you do when you have abs. And I
would not know.
Yeah, and she messaged me and I was like, yeah, well, this is what you look like when you don't eat for 90 days. She's like, yeah, well, I just discovered Eggo Pop-Tarts. So
they're delicious. I'm just saying.
Hey,
I am definitely.
First of all, Laura trolled you good.
I know.
He's like, all right, Skeletor, talk to me when you eat again.
I know. Exactly. I'm like, now I want Eggo Pop-Tarts. Why can't I have Eggo Pop-Tarts? They sound so good.
You can now. That's the thing.
It is hard. I mean, it's hard to get your mind wrapped around eating. Ben and I just did a whole episode on this last night because I'm obsessing about it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. When I'm in it, like in macros, like I'm in it. And like anything that deviates from like when I'm normally eating, like I feel guilty about, I mean, not right now. Like I definitely need to get back on that wagon.
What are the macros on an Eggo Pop-Tart, Laura? I want to know.
I don't even know. I don't even want to look. Like it's probably like 200 calories per like.
It's like 200 grams Pop-Tart. Of carbs per Pop-Tart.
Probably.
Awesome.
Probably. Yeah. I'm with you. When I'm in it, I'm dedicated and then you get used to it and then it becomes a part of your lifestyle. So it's difficult to break from the norm, but you were working with a coach. So like rest assured and be confident in that, like your coach isn't going to be like, all right, we're up to 4,000 calories a day now. And it's very normal working things back in until you get to a point where you feel full and not deprived. And yeah, you'll probably gain a little bit of weight back, but like you'll still be shredded. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you'll add things back in that make you feel good mentally and physically, but still perform well. That's the whole point.
Yeah, the whole thing's weird. Like I'm in this place where like body weight stuff feels really, really good. Like running,
it's great.
Running is super easy, right? Easier than it's ever been. Like all that stuff's like really cool. But I don't like what it's changed in kind of my mentality around eating. So I'm trying to rein that in some. Like the feeling guilty about.
Yes.
Like I had dinner with the girls the other night and Megan was like, hey, can we order in pizza? I'm like, sure, I'll order you guys a couple of pizzas. So order them pizza. And I already had my meal prepped. So I was going to have salad and chicken. And I had that. And then I had one slice of pizza. And then I felt guilty about it. It was one fucking slice. It wasn't even a big slice. And it wasn't even that good, for the record, which was very disappointing.
That's why you have to come to New Jersey. We have the best
Mhm.
pizza.
I've heard that. I've heard that. But it was like, why, I'm sitting there thinking, why am I feeling guilty about one stupid slice of pizza?
Yeah.
Like, how many calories that have to be in one slice for you to put on any weight from it? You have to be ridiculous, so maybe I do need to come to Jersey and just have Jersey pizza, and then I'll be fine.
Hell yeah. And bagels.
Probably.
We have the best bagels.
Oh, I love bagels.
You do have the best bagels.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't not have a bagel or an English muffin in the morning. Ever since I was pregnant, it's been like my thing, and I haven't let it go yet. I will come down for bagels. But John, I feel like it's healthy that you're saying this out loud, like that you're realizing that like you shouldn't feel guilty. And it is, you've been in like a little bit of a cut hole with your little, oh my God, edit that out. Don't whatever cut hole means,
cut hole,
please don't let that air.
Yeah.
But you have blinders on, right? Like you've been really focused to see if you could do it, and you did it, and you had a successful cut. And now it's like you look around and you're like, oh shit, like there's all this other food and stuff and things in my life that I haven't been so dedicated to for the last few weeks. And it takes a minute to adjust your mindset, and that's okay. Realizing it, saying it out loud is really important.
You know what helps me? Here's what truly helps me. Like both of you guys help me. Like, Laura's always posting stuff, like kind of body image posts. She'll go, oh my God, I've got a booty. And she like does a photo of it. And then, Nikki, Nikki's posting things, about, how your body's changing through, being a mom and lifting again and all of that. And it helps me remember that like my body challenges are not unique. Everybody has them. They're all different. Like, we all have different things we're working on, but that's the point. We're all working on something. And so I think that's what's helping keeping me grounded right now, is like realizing like I'm not really alone through this, but
for sure.
But I am also trying to go, all right, like, don't be an asshole. I need to eat the pizza occasionally and go eat a burger every once in a while and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think too, like, and Laura, I'd love to know what you hear, or rather what you think about this, because I feel like as ladies, we're almost so used to it. Like, like the body image issues and the societal pressures and whatever, like it's been around since the day we was born. But I feel like it's oftentimes harder for dudes to come to terms with it, or like be okay feeling those things. And like, I feel like guys don't really talk about those pressures as much as we do, because I don't know, we're just more used
they definitely
to
don't, but I feel like over the past like year or so, like, I mean, I definitely like follow a bunch of guys who actually are starting to bring that to light, which is, I think everyone's like, guys in general tend to not like want to share that piece of information, that they're, self-conscious about anything, or like they, that they're not feeling their best. Like it's just a given, like that, men don't feel that way. And I think that's, I mean, it's definitely not true. Obviously, we all have our days, men and women, and we all have to kind of work through them. And I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I totally agree.
I mean, it's definitely not just a female thing. I mean, we're always thrust more in the light of it, but I mean, I definitely think every person, I see it in my son too. Like, like he'll be like, oh, like I'm like scrawny and like whatever, so he's not like confident sometimes. So, but he's afraid to say it,
Of course.
Well, dudes are told to man up. That's our problem.
Yeah.
Like when something isn't working, like you just need to toughen up. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like I'm as tough as the next guy. Like I'm mentally tough. I'm physically tough. Like, I got a high threshold for pain. I can CrossFit like anybody else. Like, but we all have things we're insecure about. I have plenty, like a lot of things I'm insecure about. I would love to see people talk about it more, and it helps me to see other people talk about it. whatever that issue is. So but I do feel like I have to kind of I have to follow more women or see more women's pages because women are more apt to talk about it than men are, and that's
totally.
It's unfortunate to me.
Well, we're here to support you in your journey back to burgers and fries.
Sweet.
And pizza.
And pizza.
And Eggo Pop-Tarts, just saying.
Not until after the games, though. I have to have better abs than Ben. That's our challenge.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
It's a real challenge. Ben has his own little level of fame within CrossFit. And when we were, this is a horrible story. When we were at the games, we were in the Coliseum and this woman saw me and she's like one of those fans that kind of goes low-key crazy, and I love it. I'm like just here for it. It's just funny. She's like, oh my God, she gets like all excited when she sees you, and she's like, oh my God, I know you, I love you. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And Ben's like behind me, right? I want you to keep in mind, she's hyper excited. And Ben kind of steps out and she goes, oh my God, I know you too. And I don't know what made me do this, but I'm like, which one of us do you like better? And she goes, definitely him. It's like that, like no hesitation at all. I'm like, she was so excited.
And pointed at who? Definitely him. And pointed at who?
At Ben. Pointed at Ben.
Oh no.
I'm like, she was, and I was playing the averages. She was so excited to see me. I'm like, oh, she definitely loves me better. And I'm going to show Ben how awesome I am. And she just rolled me right under the bus. I'm like, bitch, you are dead to me now. You are so dead to me. Go away.
I am not taking a picture with you.
Yes.
Leave me alone.
No way. No selfies today.
Oh
my God, that's so funny.
So yeah, I have to have better abs than Ben by the time we get to the games. That's all
right. Pizza after games.
Pizza after
okay, games. Yeah. Pizza party after games. Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe during the games, because that's the other reason why you need to come to Madison, because Madison is nothing but cheese curds and burgers.
Good and good beer.
Oh, and good beer. It's so good.
I'm allergic to alcohol.
The shock on our faces.
Oh.
I'm looking at every time I say that to people, they're like, thing? And I'm like, yeah.
How is that a thing? Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
It?
It's like a lot of Asians have like that thing.
Yes. My best friend Whitney calls it the Asian glow when she has a drink and then her face flushes instantly. Yeah, because it's like an intolerance.
How have I never heard of this? This is an Asian
thing? Yeah, we lack an enzyme that breaks down alcohol.
That metabolizes it. Yeah.
Is it
so like it's poison.
It's all alcohol.
It's everything.
Yeah.
I could take like a little bit of like anything, and I am like my palms get like weirdly red, and like my heart like races, and I get really nauseous.
Wow.
Yeah. You never heard of this?
No. Well, come on. Asians invented sake. How could they? I just figured.
Some of the lucky ones are not allergic.
I guess. I don't know. Like some of the best alcohol on the planet was invented by Asians. I just assumed they weren't allergic. But what do I know?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I've tried. I mean, but like, yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like the best designated driver.
Well, that's even another reason why you should come to Madison then.
We got this all planned out now.
You can drive my car. I'm driving up there, so you can drive my car. You can just designate to drive us everywhere. It's gonna be awesome.
You're hired, Laura.
Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
Love it.
Yes.
Well, you totally have an invite. So if you want to come to Madison, just shoot us, either one of us, a DM. We'll get you a ticket and we'll make it happen. It'll be fun. Super fun.
Now I want to go.
Well, this was fun, Laura. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
So much for coming on. This was awesome.
Nice meeting you finally in person.
I know.
Kind of.
Oh my God. So funny.
I know. We need to do more of these, Nikki. We should do a whole series of Insta friends. That's what we'll call it.
I would love that because I truly feel like I know these people, and people say that to us all the time. I'm sure people say like in your DMs will write that to you. Like they'll talk to you like your friend because they follow you or they listen to you on the podcast, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. This is weird. Like, I feel like I know you," and I'm like, "I feel like I know you too." Like, I don't think it's weird because we're all in this community together.
About their life, like you know what's going on.
Totally.
Like so, like it's like, oh, it's not weird, but like, oh, no, it is weird a little.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Well, yeah, let's do the Insta Friends series.
Yeah, that's where this will be the first one. We just named it right at the end of the show. That's
Yay.
this is how things get created. Insta Friends. All right. Well, super fun. Nikki, great to see you again, as always.
Thank
Back-to-back
you.
nights. Very rare, but
I love it.
Ooh.
I know.
Let's do it more often.
All right. Well, go tuck that baby in. Give him snugs for me.
It's my job. Let's do it.
Aw.
And for everyone listening, we got a lot of fantastic shows coming up. We also have James Townsend coming up, and our other bestie, Danny Spiegel, is going to come on the show and talk about all the
I love
craziness
her.
going on in her. Oh, she's crazy.
She's the best.
I love her.
The best.
We'll be talking about feet and donuts, guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, feet.
Yeah.
People with feet are weird.
Feet and donuts.
Very
those,
weird.
those are gonna be the two
Very
things
weird.
we always talk about with Danny, but it'll be so much fun. So make sure you guys tune in, and I appreciate you guys joining us. Take care.